Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, we've still got this on the table. BMW f650gs. Today we're going to be getting on with the service. So this is all the kit what we've got. We've got a high flow Filtro premium oil filter, which is a HF151 for this specific bike. So that's a little filter, the oil filter. And we've got the high flow air filter as well, only standard stuff, but does the job. And we've got brand new NGK DR8 EB spark plugs. And we've gone for some Motul 10W40. I've used Motul in the past and I think it's pretty good. So we'll use it on this one. So as I said, this is the BMW f650gs, which is a twin spark model. It's on a 2007 and I'm just going to talk you through doing a service on it. As you can see, the wheel's off at the moment and the caliper, and that's because in another video I did the fork seals and some fresh fork oil. So if you look through my videos you'll see how to do that, or how I did that. It's up to you if you copy me or not. But in this one we're going to try and get, like I said, the service done. There's a possibility we might get the pads done and some fresh brake fluid back into the braking system, because that hasn't been changed in a long time, and as far as I'm aware it's never been done since new. So as a matter of course might do that. So I might be able to get these pads in this video, but I might split it up into another one. But on this one specifically we're just going to walk through doing a service on it, set of spark plugs and on oil and filters. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get rid of this jack. I'm going to take this belly pan off, which will allow us access to the bottom of the engine. This actually has a system where you fill up the oil up here up to a certain point. So it's a separate oil tank that's at the top. You don't directly fill the engine, and that feeds into it's a pump system around the engine, a little bit different to normal, but I'll show you that. Obviously you can see we've already taken this side panel off here because I was just checking what air filter was in it, because this is at 2007. Yeah, 2007. The 2008 was changed, so it's a changeover year of a different type of engine. It was classed, I think it's still classed as the 650, but it was an 800cc. Now this is a 650cc. So go figure, BMW seem to like putting different numbers and letters wherever they want, and not really telling you that it's the real size engine. But then I think after that they were called an 800. Don't quote me on that, but I think I remember rightly. So yeah, on here, very difficult to get at it, but two spark plugs go in there. Let me get a torch and you'll be able to see, hopefully. So yeah, that's where the two spark plugs go. Very difficult to get in there to tighten them up or release them. And they've also got, I don't know if you can see that, I'll try and point at it as well as shine a torch. But there, that little bracket there has got a little arc on it, and it fits in to there. So I found that, or I think I found out how to do it, that, just a minute, wobbling camera about. So this is the back coil. see, I'm going to put it, I've detached the cable off of it, and I'm going to put it in, snap it in position, and then I'm going to try and twist it on to the support and then put the cable on, because to do it all in one, it feels like you're going to pull the cable off. So we'll see if that works. Hopefully it does. I can't remember if I've done spark plugs on this a long time ago, but so I should know really, shouldn't I, how to do it? But I don't, because I forget things. Oh well. So yeah, up there, very difficult, and if somebody else will probably mention it, that you probably whip all this tank off and everything up here, and you'll be able to get to it a lot easier. But we're going to attempt it the hard way, which is taking as least amount off as possible and fiddling about there. So yeah, that's where the petrol tank is, over there. So it's all a bit different, this. You know, it looks like a petrol tank, but it isn't. It's over there. That's where the air filter goes, just in there. So you've got to take all this panel off here, and this panel is then where that is the, I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but that's where the indicator goes. So you've got to take the indicator off. Then this panel's underneath the indicator there. Then you try and remove it. Then you realise that there's a bolt here, just underneath, that goes up, sorry, here. And then you realise that it's got clips as well on the back that hold onto there and there. So it's not just that and that. So these are Torx bits, and moving stuff about. I advise getting a set like this if you're going to do this bike, this particular bike, because you can get deep in, and you'll see when I show you these bits here, if I'm aiming the camera on it, there and there. You need something thin to get right into it, because they're already screwed out now, but you need to get about that far in to get it out. So if you've just got a normal set, this hole isn't big enough to allow a normal set to get in, you know, like your normal hex bit sets where you put a ratchet on the end of it. So I advise getting a set of these screwdriver Torx bits, and these ones are T20s, and I think all the rest are T25s. So as long as you've got that in the kit, you should be fine. And as there's another one there, which is even bigger. But yeah, if you got a set of these, you'd be fine with this bike. So yeah, right, once them have been removed, there, you can see that they go pretty deep. See how far they go in. See, that deep in. So they've all been removed. And then that section pulls off there. So it looks like that. And then all this comes off, and it's in a little peg at the end. So you've got to pull it that way, like that, and then it comes out, you see. And then the other end. And that reveals where the air filter goes. So that's the air filter. So I might actually just have a little look in there. It's pretty clean. So yeah, let's hope it fits. She's tight there. So then the other part slides in over the top there and around there, and it squidges it in when this part clamps it. The other bit clamps it down there. So yeah, a fair amount to take off there just for the air filter, but easy peasy once it's off. By the way, the battery is under there as well, so if you wanted to ever get the battery, it's there. So you have to take this middle part off as well. which you end up taking everything off anyway just to get at it. You might as well take both side panels off and then the middle out as well, just for ease, because I've seen others where they just snap all these lugs off trying to prise it up and not take everything off. It's worth it not to break anything. So right, I'm just going to get on with taking this belly pan off and removing the jack that's underneath it, and we've strapped her down so that we don't tip up, because obviously we haven't got a front wheel in. And I'm going to do another video on fitting some tyres, because we've just got in some very nice Continental TKC 70s for it, because these are, although they look like they've got plenty of tread, they're like wellies, very old, and the front one's about buggered. So right, I'm going to get on with that. So I had a look at the earlier footage, and apparently I was down here when I was trying to show you up here. So now I've taken the side panel off so you can actually see the oil tank. So this is the oil tank, and that's where you fill it from, and it's got a little dipstick there. Again, not showing you. I'm looking at the dipstick and not looking through the camera. There we go. So yeah, that's where you fill it from. Little fancy clips there to pull them off if you need to take it off. There shows the in and the out flow of the oil. In, around there and back out again, and it's shaped all like this, I think, for cooling the oil. So there's all fins like an old air-cooled engine. Rushes through, cools the oil, goes back into the engine again. But there was a certain one of these that was a Dakar style one, and then there was actually a Dakar, full Dakar one with a big screen on and stuff like that. It was quite a rarity, I think, to get. I don't think we had it in this country. What's that guy that had one? Long way down, long way round. It's Charlie Boardman, that's him. He had one of these, but his was the full Dakar version, not just the Dakar styled one, because this one is like the, let's say the road going one and a little bit of off-road. The Dakar one, which is usually comes in blue and stuff, had, I think, slightly longer forks and a longer travel back end. Don't think there's much difference in it, to be honest, not power wise. But then there was a full Dakar version, which like I said, I don't think we got it in this country. It might have been other European countries that you could buy it from, but really rare thing, I think, that to get one of them. So we've taken this side panel off because I wanted to take the middle panel as well to get at the battery, because that needs charging. Because it's been off-road for so long, everything's gone flat. That was actually a brand new battery, but never mind. But it also reveals the expansion tank there, top of the radiator, and we'll go through all this and check it all over as well. So back to the service. So underneath here, you see the finger, there it is. I'll get the torch. So there is sump plug, and that is a 24 24 socket on there. Go around this side. We had to take the sprocket cover off because that covers this bolt here, which is where we need to get the oil filter. Good thing really, because we'll clean all that and check all this as well. See if we've got any play in anything, which I don't think we will have. So we're going to get on with dropping the oil and taking the old oil filter out next. And never have enough ice cream tubs to get rid of all your old oil. So these are T30s, and the chain cover, sorry, front sprocket cover with T30s as well, and it's an idea to get the long screwdriver set like I said earlier, because that, as you can see, they get caught on there, end up chewing all this casing up here as well with a screwdriver type one in there, and they're not very tight then. These ones a little bit more, but not a lot. That's why I put this one on a ratchet. These have already been cracked off. So you can see this one, this front one, sticks out, unusual shape to it, and the other two slightly different. So either 8mm or a T30 Torx on the inside. And now we've got more oil coming out. That's why I put that there and then moved it. So these two at the front are the same size, you can't get them wrong. But the back one is like that. So we'll take this off. And we'll see what the O-ring's like. Really, I'd advise changing the O-ring for a new one every time. They usually come in the pack when you get your oil filter. There's nothing wrong with this one, like there's no chunks out of it or chips or anything, and it's not been leaking. So I think ours is fine, but I'd advise to put a brand new one on. Pull that out. Clean all surfaces up, and there, just with a rag. Usually, if you've got any bits of rubber stuck on it and bits like off the outer casing, obviously it would definitely need an O-ring at that stage. But this is clean as anything, as you can see. Yep, looks nice and clean in there now. So we'll go for the new filter. Just so it seals correct, we'll just get a bit of the oil, put it around there so it slips on nice there. Put that back in. There we go. And probably use gloves, unlike me. That'll do. So that'll go on. Don't think there's any orientation to it. Doesn't look like there is. There's nothing that says up or down. I think it's just as long as these hit the correct places, it'll do. So there we go. Start putting them back. Tighten them in stages really, so just get them to nip a little bit. Then you know that O-ring's going in nice. And you can see I've not put a lot of pressure on that, because you're only squashing that O-ring. It's in there, we're not trying to break it by pushing it in. I'm going to leave the front chain sprocket cover off because I'm going to clean it all down, and it's quite grubby inside, as you can see. So I'll leave that off for a second. Just going to put the sump plug back in. Again, the O-ring, not the O-ring, the copper washer that's on it is absolutely fine. Got the cheapest chips to replace, so I really should have got one, but I didn't. Just make sure all the faces are clean, no gravel in it or anything. And that's the little magnet that holds any swarf on it, which there doesn't look to be any on there. Looks nice and clean. Yeah, if you start seeing big lumps of metal stuck to that, you may have a problem. But that's all okay. See, that's a tiniest little dent on there. But we should be okay. We will see. But I would replace it, I'd say. Do as I say, not as I do. Right, I'm going to tighten that up and then I'll get some fresh oil in it. Okay, the sump plug is back in, and that has been tightened up to 40 Newton meters. And now we're going to put some oil in. It takes around 2.3 litres. So we're going to do it in stages. We're going to put a litre in to a jug. And if it does need a little more once it's had a fire up, we'll add a touch more. Let's see if I can pour it down my army. Just put a rag under here just in case we get it all over, which I probably will. I hope you can see what you're doing, because I can't. Going somewhere. Gonna get another litre. Right, what I've done is I've had to connect another battery up by these jump leads because this is dead at the moment, and because of how this system works, it needs to run around the engine and drag a bit of oil into the oil pump and then pump it back up, which will get rid of a load of air bubbles and stuff, and I can hear it gurgling and belching and all sorts in there. So what I've done is I've attached this just to bring the oil level down a bit, so that I can just, if I can get to it, just turn it on. The spark plugs are out and everything. And I don't know if you can hear that, but you can hear it popping and burping and all sorts in there. So I'll do that. What I've put in at the moment is 1.5, just under litres. I don't know if you can see on there. So just under the 500. So I'll put a full one, also 1.5 nearly. So I'll leave that to one side. There could have been a little bit of oil left in the bottom of this, the old oil, but I don't think there was, because it's absolutely filled this ice cream tub up to the top. It actually looks like it might have been overfilled. I'm going to leave it to gurgle and burp and all sorts, and I'm going to get on with the spark plugs, and then put a set of spark plugs in. Try and get this battery charged somehow. I might have to nip back and get the battery charger. And then what we want to really do is get it fired up, and it'll just burp all the system. Turn it off, run it for about a minute, 2 minutes, just so it's starting to get warm. Turn it off, come back to you, top it back up again. Hopefully we only need between 600 mil, something like that, 700 mil, what did I say? 2.3 I think it said in the book. But like I said, there might be a bit of residual oil that was left in before. As this system works, there might have been a little bit left in there, and it might not have all drained through. But the oil, the original oil that was in it, is pretty good anyway. It's not bad at all. Right, I'm going to put the spark plugs in, and I'll show you that. Right, we're going to try every which way to get these spark plugs back in, because they were a nightmare to get back out, the old ones. So we'll try it with screwing it in as far as we can with the fingers first. Right, that's as far as I can turn it now. With my hand. 18 deep socket. See if it goes in the hole. Right, it's gone in. Can I get the ratchet in though? Probably not. No, I can't. Right, so that one's maybe not going to work either. Let's try an adapter with a smaller ratchet. Difficult. Take that off, see if we can get it all in one shot. Oh, seems to be working. I think that's it. We're tight. It's off. Now, if that's not difficult, I don't know what is. And what the hell are you going to do with this? I don't know. I mean, I put this on just to remove it. So I've got it on. Got a screwdriver in there. Give it a crack just to start it moving. And then started undoing it with my fingertips. But I don't think there's any way you're going to use that to, well, you might be able to tighten it on with that, but you're going to be there for an age, because that, once that's on, doing it in little stages like that every time this comes round, that's no good. So I advise, when you put it back on, use an 18, and if you've got an adapter, go down to a 3/8 ratchet, because the 1/2 inch didn't fit on, and that's all I had. So I had maybe a 3/8 deep 18 with that on top might work, but It might not either. You might need a little extension up, but that did it for me. So it is, I think it is possible to use one of these, but you know, getting it on and just turning it like that and then getting it again and turning it like that again, or probably have to take the top off all this up here, which I haven't done. So now we're going to fit the rear coil, hopefully. So I'm going to try and put it in, clip it into position, and then turn it to where the hook goes in, like so, and then attach the cable afterwards. So let me see where the cable's up ways and down ways. So so it goes that way. Okay, let's have a go. Right, we've managed to just get the top of the coil pack just started on the little hook. It's similar to this at the front here, like this one, but it goes that way. And then as we've got it started, I've now plugged in the cable that goes to it, and then now we'll just turn it. Now that's hooked on and plugged in. Difficult. Hopefully the front one's going to be easier. So that one's in, finger tight. And go for this again, if we can. That'll do. I think. One more for good luck. Take it off. I mean, and again, look at that thing. I mean, where's that? Can't even get it on. Nightmare. Right. What I'm going to do with this one, I think I'll spray a little bit of this, what's it called, GT85 on it, and we'll get a bit up there as well. So we've got a chance now, I think. I don't like making things easy, do they? Oh, yeah. Try a different way. Oh. Right. Now I've got to press it on. There we go. Then it just click in then. This is determined to snap some cables off. So you can see that now turns onto there, like so. So what you've got to do is that, but right up there, inside there. So that's them both on. We hope. That back one, okay, you can't see what you're doing with it. But solid. Whew. It's on. Right, now we'll fit the air intake pipe. Right, I've given this a little wipe down and got all the bugs and stuff out of it. And there's a little connection that we need to put back on here. So on. There. Done. Right, we need to charge this battery so that we can turn the engine over, burp the system with the oil, and then see how much we need to top it up. Okay, well, we are up to there, which we are at the highest point of the oil at the moment, but I'm sure we'll have some more air bubbles. But if you're going to do this yourself, obviously at this point now, you'd be just starting it up, 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 3, just get it up and running with some oil flinging around it. You know for a fact there's plenty of oil in the system, and then turn it off, let it settle down for about 30 seconds, a minute, take the cap off, check where it is on the dipstick. If it's all gone off the dipstick, which I expect it will have done because there'll have been an airlock in the system, then just keep topping it up, top it up to the maximum, and then run it again, burp it again, do exactly the same thing again, then come back and check it. And I'll go around this side, that if you put too much in, so if you put too much oil in, there's your drain for the oil tank. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is probably the brakes. So we've got some EBC double H sintered. Yep. A bit more grippy. They are slightly more expensive than the normal organic EBC. They're about 10 for a pair. Say you bought it in a pair, you'll pay probably £10 more for the pair in sintered. And as far as the service kit goes, I think we might have spent around £50 on doing it, but I've got a hell of a lot more oil than what I needed, so I just thought I'd get one of these. I think it's 4 litre, this one. Yeah, 4 litre tub. So I've got some more for other projects, and that'll go into stock. And I thought it was worth doing the spark plugs as well. Some people don't do the spark plugs on a general service, but we have. There's no wonder they don't do them though on this. What a nightmare that is. Anyway, they're done now. Right, on with the front brake pads. Nice set of Brembos that's on this. You can see, as I said earlier, that we have got the front wheel out, and there's some new pads to go in here. I've not done these before on this one, but we'll see. We'll turn it towards the light, seeing as we have that option. Now the front wheel is out of it. So that's what we're looking at. That's the back of it. And that's the side view. Underneath is a little pin that goes through there, and I think there's a anti-vibration or anti-rattle little clip bracket thing that stops these from rattling around, holds them in each side. So I think it'll just, yeah, that clips out. That's one down, and the other one will be just the same. Move that along the pin at the bottom. I think I'm getting it in view, trying to hold the camera at the same time. Keep wiggling it. That's moved it across at the bottom. I'll just get a screwdriver. There we go. It's popped out. Right. Now at the bottom, what do we have? We have this pin. It's held in with a little clip, or what do you call it, split pin, sorry. There, that. So that comes out. And then, oh, that's loose already. Let's just put a bit of squirt on it. So that, all this is rotating, this pin. You can see it there moving about. So I think we've got to tap it from this way out now. So just let me get the camera set up. So there's the pin. Just get a little punch and a hammer. See if we can get it started. It is spinning. I think it's wanting to move. So there's the pin. So I've spun this fork leg round because we've got that option at the moment because there's no wheeling. So there's the pin. And just take that out. And there we go. You can see all that. And this has got like an expanding ring on there. You see that? So as it knocks in, it must tighten. This will tighten up on the hole that it's going in, and then to stop everything from going out again, you put the little clip through there, a little split pin through there, which is there. So once it's all in, put that back together like that. So we'll just give this a clean up. We'll get a bit of brake cleaner on it, on the job, that'll do. And all we'll do with these two pistons is we'll just press them back in with one of these clamps and a socket so that we can get in there. And we'll just press these pistons as far back as we can. If you can see what we're doing, like that. So just clamp it together. You see the piston went back then, fully back now. And then release them. So that's the pistons flush. So that now we can put the new brake pads back in and it'll allow it to go over the disc. So what we've got is these, which are the double H sintered EBC. Get it around again, them ones, and them ones will be going back in. So just wipe the pin down. Just going to put a little bit of copper grease on the pin, not a lot, don't need much. I say it don't need much, and then I'm daubing it with much, so take a bit off. There, that's not too bad. Right, and then we'll start pushing it back in. So as we're doing that, we'll start hanging the new brake pads on, and the right way round. So we've got, where are we? So we've got that one, which is the first one. Don't hang that on, and then that one is the second one. You see, so that goes in there. Make sure it's starting to go into the back there, as you can see, and then we'll give that a little tap. Hopefully it'll start pushing that expanding ring in. There we go, it started. And then we'll finish it off wherever the punch has gone. Now we'll check. In fact, we'll come round this side and we'll check if we've got the little hole there for this to go back in, which is there. I'll have to give that a tap as well. There we go. That's snapped back in. And then we'll just push these back into position. That's one. Well, hang on, just a second. Right, let's take them both up together. Or the back one first. The back one? Right, we'll do the back one first instead of the front one. And push that into position. There we go. I told you I'd never done this before. But it's quite easy. I might, mind you, it's never had any on before, the copper slip, so it won't have any on now. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I've just only put it on that pin. There we go. That's it. It's ready to take the disc back in. So what I'll do is I will bleed it all back up. I mean, it doesn't need bleeding, but I'm just going to change the fluid. But when I've got the wheel on so that it's got the brake can press against something, because if I do it now it'll close that gap up and then we'll be trying to jimmy something like this into it and destroying all the front of the pad and everything, so we don't want that. So yeah, that's it, it's ready to take the disc. So we'll start on the back one. Okay, so I think the rear caliper, it's the same as the front, where there's just this pin that we need to remove and this little clip that goes through the pin. So it looks like we punch it out through here and move it across throughout there, and then that'll drop the pads down, which we can then push the pistons back, or the piston. I think there's just one on this side. But first of all, I'm just going to remove this cover here. It's the bracket that holds the rear, like little section of mud guard or splash guard. So we'll take this out. We've got a bit better access. You can see what things are happening then. So I just put that down there, which reveals the ABS sensor, so we'll probably give that a little blowout as well with an airline or something. So I'll just change the camera angle so that we can see from this way in. Right, there we go. And you can see a little bit more now. Just going to give it a little squirt with some this lubricant so we can get things moving. There we go, it's out. Now we shall go for the punch. can see this being difficult to get in through the spokes to knock it back in again. So that's come out easy peasy. I'll put a bit of copper slip back on that when it goes back in. So we'll see if we can. These pads are no good now because we've got the new ones. Again, EBC double H ones, sintered ones. So what we'll try and do is push this piston. In fact, we'll see if there's any crud on that piston, because we don't want to be sending. Yeah, there is a little bit on there. There we go. You can see now, nice and shiny. So what you want to be doing as you're pressing these out is have the top of the brake fluid reservoir open, or else you're fighting against it not being able to be pushed back. And then it should be, yeah, that's come loose now. And the back one's loose. There we go. That one's out. And that one's out. Still some meat on them, but we're putting some better ones back in. So right, this seems to have a like another anti-rattle on the back of this one. So we'll go for a clean up on that and see if it fits on the new one. I'm just going to make sure this piston's all the way back. Make sure it's all the way in, as far as we can get it. Just using a bit bigger screwdriver, the other one was a bit small. I couldn't get the leverage on it. So yeah, that's in. We've checked to see if it fits, and it does fit the new pad, as you can see. I'm going to now put a bit of copper grease on the slider. Start it off a little bit there. There we go, that's in. Fiddle about at the back end until it pops upwards. The next one can go in. This one. There we go. So that's them two in. We're then going to tap this through. So I'm just going to find something to tap this through. And then we'll put the little pin that goes in there. We might have to orientate it a little bit until we see the hole once I've tapped this in. Just put a few extensions together, something that I can give a little tap to, or maybe if you find you've got a rod about that big, little bit of steel bar, something along them lines. So we're going to tap that in. So that's gone all the way in. So we're just looking now to see where the hole is, and we might have to orientate that a bit. Bear with me. Again. Right, got the torch now. We've managed to orientate the pin hole where we can see it, and I'm going to now snap this pin in position. If we can press it down, there we go. So it goes downwards, and that's it. So yeah, I just moved it around with a pair of pliers just so I could see the hole, and then snap that back in. So that's it, done really, apart from a bit of a clean up around all these parts. We'll get some more brake cleaner around it, clean the front and rear caliper themselves, but they weren't that dirty to be honest. Right, next job is going to be the tyres, but I think we're going to leave it there. Right, just before I go and leave this little video that I put together, I thought I'd tell you what the service kit actually cost. So we'll start with the rear brake pads there. So EBC brake pads rear, double sintered, double H sintered, cost £22.50. The front brake pads cost £24. They're the same again, double H sintered, so they're the good EBC ones. There is organic ones that you can buy which are slightly cheaper, but I'd say you might as well spend a little bit extra money. In total it costs £10 more for them than the organic ones, and they do brake a lot better, these ones. The oil and filters there, you have a look on this list I've got here, cost £52. Again, I went for the slightly better oil. I could have gone for a little bit cheaper oil and probably got this same kit for around £37. 30, I think there was 37 or 39 if I remember rightly, but £52 gets the good oil and a couple of good filters, and the spark plugs cost £12, so they were £6 a piece then. So in total the service kit and the brake pads combined cost £110. Now I don't think that's bad at all really for a little service, and this is very easy to be honest. You can do it at home, even though I complain about stuff when I'm fitting bits and bobs into it, that it is a bit difficult, but it's certainly easy for the DIY mechanic to do this job. So there you go. Hope you like what you've seen in this video. Like and subscribe, and in the next one we're going to be doing a set of tyres on this bike, and it'll be going in for an MOT. So I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.